That game was insane. It was truly ridiculous. The best game of this tournament so far, in my opinion. And I'm just going to walk through some player ratings. We're going to go through the match a little bit today. Both of these teams, I think it lived up to expectations. They were very high for both these teams, considering these were probably the best two teams in the entire tournament. There was a great mix of like bad decisions by coaches, incredible individual talent, some luck, some bad calls, some really bad calls, and some wild behavior from the players as well, and then one of the most incredibly clutch goals I've seen in a very long time. But let's get into this match specifically. So throughout the first 45 minutes, I think it was a little cagey. You know, it wasn't as free flowing. Obviously, it ended 0-0. It wasn't as exciting. I think both teams created some decent chances. I thought Spain was the better team. I think they were making Germany play the way they wanted Germany to play. I think they ran the game, even if they had, about the same possession or even less. They did a good job of keeping the team very condensed in the center. And I think it makes sense when you're playing against Musiala and all those central players. Musiala, Havertz, Gundogan, even Sané in this game wasn't playing very wide. And so it really only let them create chances out wide. Carvajal was staying so close to Lenormand in the beginning and then Nacho in the second half. That meant that the only space was going to come from the fullbacks going wide and putting in crosses, but it worked. Havertz got a couple good headers on goal, and thankfully they weren't great headers, and it was easy for Unai Simon to handle it. But then in the second half, I think Spain came out firing more than they had in the first half. We saw a lot from Nico Williams, not a ton from Yamal. I don't think Morata was good in the first half either. But I think everybody really turned it up in the second half. Pedri, obviously, it's terrible. I was heartbroken when I was live streaming watching that on Tifo, and it hurt. It hurt my soul watching him go out like that, and he's going to miss the rest of the tournament. We did get news. It's like some PCL or MCL sprain or something like that. Hopefully only a couple of weeks, but we know with these guys, it's never just that long. It was probably a card-worthy offense. And then the way Cruz ran up to the ref, that was definitely card-worthy, considering no one's supposed to talk to the ref. So, whatever, he got away with it. It is what it is. Pedri got out of the game. Olmo came in, and then thankfully we know in the second half, well, it worked out. Lamine Yamal got the ball on the right. Also, Fabian Ruiz, very good in the build-up, at least to that goal, but in a couple of other chances that were created in this team, Fabian Ruiz was like really just the spark or the start of it all. But Lamine Yamal, incredible vision to pick out Dani Olmo's run here, and then perfect finish from Dani Olmo on the goal. Really well done from the two of them. From there, the game devolved a little bit. I don't understand De La Fuente taking out Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal to bring on Ferran Torres. It wasn't great. And then in the second half, and then it got, Wirtz scored the goal. I don't think it was a great finish, but hey, it doesn't need to be to score a goal, right, Wirtz? But nonetheless, they got away with it. They scored, and it went to extra time, and it was from there a little interesting, very exciting. Not the first part of extra time. The second part was wild. If you haven't watched it and you don't have a lot of time, just go and start the game from the second half of extra time. It was crazy. Even the last 10 minutes of extra time, incredible header from Marino. I don't think Spain were creating anything that entire time. Like, since Nico Williams and Lamine Yamal went off, Dani Olmo and Ferran Torres were struggling to be the only creative outlets for the team. Oyarzabal wasn't great as like that weird central striker, center forward thing that he was playing. And Ferran Torres is not a great one-on-one player. I will say that until the day I'm dead. He didn't do great today because he's being tasked as a touchline winger. That's not where he's the best. He needs to be in those half spaces between center backs or between fullback and center back, and he wasn't there. He had to be on the line today because Dani Olmo wasn't going to do that. It was his job to. So I think he was a little restricted. It's a little unfair to say he wasn't good, but he wasn't good. The team wasn't creating when they took them off. That's why they couldn't score anything at the end of the normal time. And then in the second half, I'm surprised that Dani Olmo was so good, but Dani Olmo turned it on for a few plays and found an incredible ball to Marino, and that was like one of the best headers I've seen in a very long time too, especially from a Spanish player. Fantastic header from Marino right into the top corner. Neuer had no chance, and it's probably the first time in the entire game that Rudiger lost his man. That was the most incredible part of that, honestly. I mean, Rudiger had such a good game, was really all over the place, covered everything, handled Nico Williams for the most part. And then, Danny Carvajal tackled Jamal Musiala and got a second yellow and then went off. That was wild. I understand doing it. I also don't understand doing it. Fulkrug missed so many chances today. Really remarkable. Him and Havertz had shockers today, man. Man, that was wild. So I said we were going to do rankings, and I'm yet to do that. We're going to do this real quick. Some explanations for them. Unai Simon, I'm going to give him an 8 because he made some good saves, some key saves here. His distribution was terrible. Maybe this is just me, but he gave it away like 3 times in really bad situations to Germany. So that's unacceptable from a Spanish goalkeeper. Moving to the back, Danny Carvajal. He had a good game. I'm going to give him a 7. That red card, or the second yellow, you can really ask some questions of him for that one, but whatever. It worked, I guess. They got a free kick in a dangerous spot, but it went right to Unai Simon, and, we won the game, or Spain won the game. And so that was great for him, for them. Danny Carvajal was going to miss the next game anyway on a yellow card accumulation, so it really didn't matter. Lenormand didn't have the best time, but he was also pretty solid. Part of the reason Havertz got a free header, but I think a 7 is fair for him. Laporte, I'm going to give him more than that. 7.5 is pretty reasonable too. Solid at the back, not great. Germany had more big chances today than Spain did, but they just didn't put it away. And only conceding 1 goal against this German side is pretty impressive, honestly. Cucurella, again, there are some really impressive moments from him where he tracked back against Muller a couple times and won the ball back in dangerous positions, but also where he just makes the wrong decision. But he still had a good game. I'm still going to give him a 7.5, the same as Laporte, but I'm not in love with him. I don't think he was as good today as he has been in other matches this tournament. Fabian Ruiz, though, the guy was incredible. I think he made some really impressive plays today. He's always, every time Spain scores, it feels like Fabian Ruiz has a big pass somewhere in the buildup of that play. And today was no different. Really, really good today. Really impressed from him today. Rodri, slightly less impressed. I think he controlled the game a little bit more in the second half and did a little bit better. And, was just consistently strong and held possession well. 7.5 for Rodri. I think I said 8 for Ruiz. I think I'm comfortable with an 8. Pedri, didn't really say anything. I don't think it's fair to rate him. Olmo, though, he's the man of the match for me. Really, really great goal and great assist. Fine everywhere else. I think there were some times in the second, or in extra time, or added time, where he was able to get past his man and actually, play as a winger. And that's not necessarily something I expected from him. I kind of expected more of a Ferran Torres way of playing, but no, he actually got past his defender, unlike Ferran Torres, and he deserves a 9 for that goal and that assist, and probably would deserve more if he did a little bit more, but I think he had a great game. Morata, though, I'm going to give him a 6.5. I don't like Morata. I don't think he's a good player. I think he did okay, but you can disagree with me if you want. Every time I watch Morata, I'm like, why are you offside? Why are you going down so easily? Why are you complaining? Why did you make that pass? He made a couple good decisions today, which is why he's not below 5, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of his. Whatever. You might disagree with me. Lamine Yamal, though, whew. I think he had a little bit of trouble in the first half getting into the actual play of the match, but he figured it out, got it all together, and was really good. Obviously, that pass, that vision from him on almost goal was single-handedly probably the best pass in this entire game. I think he deserves an 8 just because he couldn't get into the match a ton. I think they were defending him pretty well with Raum and the Mittelstadt. So, yeah, I think an 8 is pretty reasonable for him. And then our subs. The lowest being Ferran Torres. I'm going to give him a 5. I don't think he was good. He missed that insane chance to put the game away right at the end there. And that would have been insane. It would have been great to see him score that. And it would have been great for him, too. I think the confidence would have been unbearable. Marino, though, 9 as well. Same as Olmo, but I got to give Olmo the man of the match just for everything he did. Oyarzabal, fine. Not impressed. 6.5. Joselu, same thing. He didn't really have anything to do. Didn't really touch the ball at all, I don't think. Nacho, okay. There was that thing where he like backed into Verts and then tried to fake it as a foul. I don't know. It's gross. I think he did okay though. There were a couple interceptions he had that were good. I'm gonna give him a 7. But I really hate what he did that to Verts. I'm like, why? It's unnecessary. It's also when the game was still tied. So I don't know if he was trying to get him a yellow card or something, but it didn't really matter, I don't think. Oh, he was on a yellow already, so maybe, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. That game was wild. I think this Germany probably deserved penalties. They created more chances. I'll read these stats real quick, but it was 2.01 expected goals for Germany, 1.5 for Spain, 5 big chances for Germany, 3 for Spain, 23 total shots for Germany, 18 for Spain, 5 saves for Spain, 4 for Germany. Germany had 5 corners. Spain only had 1. And a lot of fouls in this game, a lot of yellow cards. I think it was something like 13 yellow cards or something. I don't really want to count, but it was a lot. A lot of fouls, a lot of cards, a lot of tackles went in. I think Germany were unfortunate today that Füllkrug and Havertz were so off their game. Yet again, like they have been so good in this tournament, but desperately needed a striker. And that's what people were saying going into the tournament, that Germany needed a striker to really compete at the top level, and that's how it turned out. That was ridiculous. That was so insane. So yeah, if you guys have time, try and find a bootleg or something, or the actual stream of the last like 12 minutes of that game. That was thrilling in a way a football match hasn't really been in a long time. All right, I'm going to cut this out. I got to go watch the England game. I'm going to record this and get it uploaded. There's also a video on the main channel about Ansu Fati, so click on that here. And I'll see you guys next week. Peace.